Andrew Yang basically says that all of this impeachment hubbub and the scandals and the investigation are leading to Trump's re-election. Why, you would be correct, Andrew Yang, saying this is going on impeachment. This is going to be a loser. I can respect Andrew Yang because he actually is one of the first people to point out that impeachment is a failing position for the 2020 Democrats. Now, Yang is not a politician. He's not currently in office, but he's running for president, so I think he has a big advantage. He's less concerned about worrying about re-election, and he can say whatever he thinks is right. And if he doesn't get elected, we don't really expect him to get the nomination anyway. Let's be real about it. I donated to him. I think he's a good dude. But he's unconstrained by fears of losing his, whatever position. I mean, Mayor Pete probably has little to worry about because he's a mayor. But you got some senators, running. Tulsi Gabbard apparently isn't going to be seeking re-election in Congress, which is also, to an extent, good news for her, meaning she's unconstrained. Well, let's see exactly what Andrew Yang had to say on why he took the correct position of impeachment being a horrible idea. Now, mind you, Yang is pro-impeachment, probably because he has to be, but I don't want to impugn anyone's honor. He's probably for it, but he recognizes it's a waste of time, and he phrases it really interestingly. Check it out. The Free Beacon reports, Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang on Wednesday said attacks on President Donald Trump have been ineffective and may ultimately increase his re-election chances. Now, Yang isn't the latest to the party. I mean, I've been talking about this nonstop, basically since Trump got elected. The Democrats don't seem to get why Trump won. But there was a great tweet. I forget who it was from, Buck Sexton, I believe. He said, if the Democrats haven't learned anything, or I can't remember exactly what he said, but it's basically this. If they think that parading in a bunch of Ivy League professors to give their legal opinion on why Donald Trump should be removed, they learned nothing from 2016. Did you see the debacle yesterday or whenever the day before? I don't remember what it was. I tuned it out. Okay, I tuned it out. It was basically a bunch of anti-Trump activists giving their opinions. And if I wanted that, I'd turn on MSNBC. We don't need that in Congress. But think about it. Imagine being, working class from a dying town. Your coal plant shut down, your power plant shut down, your industry is leaving, and you're wondering who you're going to vote for. Along comes Donald Trump. Talks kind of bad. Like a mean dude, says mean things. That's not really your concern. Do I care as an impoverished, working class individual in a dying town that Trump says mean words? Gotta be honest, not really. While personally, Tim Pool, I think Trump could do better. I don't think people in these places are worried about Trump saying horse face or whatever. What they're worried about is Donald Trump saying, I will do what I can to bring the jobs back, to bring, to bolster the economy, and spending is up. It doesn't mean Trump got a clean victory. There's a lot of problems. But compare that to the suit wearing, your president is a bad man who named his son Barron. That's not going to play well. You know what I love about this country? You know what makes America great? I can walk right up to Donald Trump, to Nancy Pelosi, and I could flip them the bird and laugh the whole time. Now, I get it. There's security protocols. Secret Service will probably push me back and say, get away from the president. But I can literally say, you are allowed to go on TV and say Orange Man bad 15 million times, and he can't do anything about it. So this is what makes America great. Let's talk about the American dream, all right? Actually, let me read what Andrew Yang said, because I don't want to bury this. He said, it's interesting. It seems like all we do is throw ineffective rocks at Donald Trump, and then it ends up leading, unfortunately, toward his re-election. Spot on, brother. That's exactly what's happening. Apparently, Washington Free Beacon, or there's an ad for an Eric Swalwell whoopee cushion, which I have to mention because I just noticed. But let me tell you about America. Let me tell you about the American dream. You know what the American dream is? It's not one thing. Right? You seem to have these young millennials who believe the American dream is that you can be institutionalized in learning facilities, take out massive loans, go to college, get out, and get a comfortable job. Since when was that ever the American dream? When we look back in history at what the American dream was, it was poor people from foreign countries coming in, tired, poor, huddled masses, being given refuge in this country, putting all of their family members in a tiny shoebox apartment and working tooth and nail, nonstop, with no days off, and eventually their grandkids were educated elites, the nobility of a country. You see, before America, in many countries, You didn't move up. There was no such thing as upward mobility. If you were born a peasant, you would die a peasant. If you were a noble, you were a noble. And I don't know how, but the UK still has a House of Lords. That is mind-blowing. They have a House of Commons, too. I'm not super familiar with British politics for the most part, but they have a House of Lords. Why? We don't have that here. No. Granted, our Congress people are all millionaires, so we do have serious problems with that. But I tell you this. What makes America great, what makes the American dream, is the fact that I'll speak in a fictional setting. Imagine I am but a lowly shoe polisher, standing on a street corner with a little box offering for just a mere 10 cents a nice polish of your shoes. And along comes big-wig corporate oil tycoon with a cigar in his mouth, smugly saying, these poor peasants. And I can walk up to him and flick him off and say, welcome to America, buddy. I can say whatever I want to you. It doesn't matter how rich, how powerful. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, could be walking down my poor alley as I'm covered in dirt. And I can say, go to hell. Screw you and everything you've done. And guess what? Can't do nothing about it. The American dream is that the dictator can't bring you down. That when you're here, you can say what you want to say. You can speak your mind. You can stand up for what you believe in. So I'll tell you what doesn't play for people who are upset with the status quo. Parading in a bunch of Harvard, Yale, Ivy League attorneys in their suits to look down upon the peasants and cast condemnation from the ivory tower. It didn't work in 2016. It's not going to work again. What were they thinking doing this? As Andrew Yang says, it's an ineffective rock being thrown at Donald Trump. And it unfortunately ends up leading towards his reelection. Because I tell you this, Donald Trump may be a billionaire. He may be American royalty or a noble. But he's far from the ivory tower elites looking down on the American people. In fact, if I could explain it, Donald Trump is a powerful individual smoking a cigar, and he walks by that guy who says, hey, screw you, man. And he goes, oh, you talking to me? Screw you. You screw me. I'll screw you. And the people laugh. They laugh like, look at this guy get into it. He's just like we are. He's saying the same things. He's speaking the same language. So now you can imagine what's going on with impeachment. Why Andrew Yang is correct. He says you need literally dozens of Republican senators to flip. It's not going to happen. I love the analogy of the peasants in the ivory tower that I gave before, where these nobles in the tower are laughing down at us. Hillary Clinton funneling illegal money. These people were doing. DOJ just indicted some guy for indicting. He indicted some guy for funneling $3.5 million to the Clinton campaign. That's what's reported. And Bernie Sanders led his little peasant revolt. Didn't work. They didn't let him in. So the other peasants brought a bull, Donald Trump, and he kicked the door in and he's rampaging around up the tower, and we're all down here, the peasants, laughing about it. But I also think of it like, in terms of the American dream and why this, parading of Harvard-educated elites is ineffective, and it's because while Donald Trump is a powerful man, he is not in the ivory tower. He's been standing down on the ground, minding his own business, talking about how it bothers him, and one day he walked up and was like, you know what? I'm gonna kick that door in. And everyone's like, yeah, like this guy's rich, but he's down here talking like we do, living like us. Not really, but that's how it feels. And I'll tell you this, metaphorically, I get it. Trump is certainly a rich guy with a golden toilet, but he does not. He is at war with the nobility of America, with these millionaire senators and Congress people who want to uphold the status quo. Look at all the Republicans who are running away with their tails between their legs. All the retirees. They're saying, I'm out. I don't want to be involved anymore. I never cared in the first place. They were in the same party, the same nobles laughing at the peasants down on the ground. And Donald Trump came along, kicked the door in, and everyone laughed while he did it. So I'll tell you what, there's supposed to be a media telling us what's right and what's wrong in terms of facts, not morality. They're supposed to say, like, it's not true that Trump did X. It is true that Trump did Y. They don't. Now they're just playing games. So for me, I sit back and say, let the bull rampage. I don't care. This is exactly what you get. A populist rampage from somebody who doesn't like you and who is supported by people who don't like you. And as Michael Moore said back in 2016, yeah, I kid you not, Michael Moore said this. I'll paraphrase. He said that, Joe Blow, Bob Blow, Billy Blow, and all the Blows are going to send the biggest FU to the establishment, and it will feel good when they go and vote for Donald Trump. And that's what it is. So for me, I'm not one to play that game. I vote on principle. And I know a lot of people voted for Trump based on his policies, but I tell you this, man, there was at least some people who look at these Harvard-educated elites paraded around in front of Congress, the nobility of this country, who were born with a silver spoon in their mouths, or as they say in Kingsman, a silver suppository. These are the people who pretend that they are the mighty fighters for equality, but in reality, they're the privileged elites, the nobles who are shocked at the lowly peasants who dare question their edict. Michael Bloomberg taxing your soda because you're too stupid not to drink water. Michael Bloomberg saying that we should tax the poor. Yeah, because they're too stupid to decide for themselves how they should live. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, there are a lot of problems with, people spending money poorly, mismanaging their resources. I get it. But you know what else I understand? That there's freedom in this country. That you are allowed to gorge yourself on Pepsi and drink gallon after gallon if you so choose. That also means don't expect me to pay your health care. And therein lies the big conundrum. The people on the left who want to gorge themselves simultaneously demanding universal health care. That doesn't work. So I'll leave it here. I had this thing planned of talking about the media and Andrew Yang, but I don't know. I felt like talking about freedom. But Andrew Yang is right. He does say he's pro-impeachment. That's fine. I think, personally, I actually have no problem with impeaching the president, investigating him, and all these things. I just think the Democrats don't have anything, and I think they've taken it too far. So I'll put it this way. It's like, this is what's going on. You're at a party, right? And some dude barges in, and he's all loud and obnoxious, and people are complaining about him like, yo, he did this, he did that. And I'm like, wow, if he really did that at my party, I'm probably going to have to ask him to leave. So I listen. And then finally, they're like, well, we can't actually prove he damaged anything in your house or did anything wrong. And I'm like, okay, well, look, the guy's kind of obnoxious, but it's a party. We're leaving here at midnight. Just go have fun, have a drink. And they keep coming back to me nonstop, complaining about him. And I'm like, listen, man, you've taken it too far. The joke is done, okay? We all laughed the first time you said it, but now you won't stop saying it, and we're over it. You cried wolf. So listen, in a year, we're going to vote. I'm sorry you're going to lose because you've spent so much. This is why you're losing. As Andrew Yang says, you're throwing ineffective rocks at Trump, and it ends up leading toward his reelection. If only the Democrats could learn. I'll leave it there. Stick around. I got another segment coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.